And so today, we will be allocating $12 million of community development block grant funds to support relief and recovery efforts to companies and nonprofits impacted by COVID-19. The first priority will be hospitals and businesses essential to getting over this crisis. Now, this is money that we can allocate for this. These are federal funds, and we're working with our federal congressional delegation to make sure that we have the proper guidance from HUD so that we can allocate these funds and get them out the door. I just had a conference with governors, and one of the things that we want to communicate to Washington is whenever you get your emergency relief bill, give the states the maximum amount of flexibility so we can tailor-make these resources for our community. But we're allocating that $12 million for relief and emergency efforts. Secondly, I want to announce today that we're going to use $4 million of the Governor's Quick Action Closing Fund to support a bridge loan program for mid-sized companies to make payroll, working capital, and to stay in operation. You can imagine that with this almost halt to some of the economic activity in certain sectors, and some of it directly caused by response to the COVID-19 emergency, there's many businesses that are wondering how they can meet payroll. Are we going to have to lay people off? What decisions do we need to make? Can we get a loan? And so we're going to be authorizing this $4 million for loans up to $250,000. And then finally, yesterday I made a formal request for a disaster declaration for small businesses in Arkansas. Once this is approved, then this will open up loans up to $2 million for working capital for an individual business to survive the COVID-19 emergency. Secondly, whenever you look at small businesses, one of the challenges they face is simply their employees showing up to work because a lack of child care services in light of the school closings. Today I received notice that 803 child care providers across Arkansas have closed. Now just think about the impact on that of families that are needing to work but needing to take care of children at the same time, and so it makes it difficult for our working families. We are today providing incentives for child care provided during this emergency, and this will mean that there's more than the ordinary vouchers that will go to child care. It will actually be an incentive level of voucher for these child care workers and services that stay open from now through March 27th. And I want to, I'll ask Secretary Gillespie to elaborate on that as she comes to the podium. In addition, when it comes to SNAP benefits, we're suspending the work requirement through the end of April so that there won't be any hardship or difficulty in making sure that they have the food security that is needed. With this, I'd like to have Secretary Preston come and elaborate on those incentives, followed by Secretary Gillespie.
Thank you, Governor, and we appreciate the declarations yesterday related to UI. I know that's already made an immediate impact, and our team with the Department of Workforce Services is working hard to get that up and running and implemented. And a big thank you to all the healthcare workers and the team, the cabinet around us, who's worked so hard and so diligently to see us through this crisis. But you know, a special thanks to all the workers throughout the state of Arkansas, whether they be in the healthcare industry or food processing or retail and logistics that really keep our economy driving for so long and have been the backbone of our economy. These are the folks that are going to help us see it through it, and we want to do what we can to provide relief. So as the governor mentioned, we've kind of got three different avenues that a business can go to look for relief. The first will be through the SBA that he mentioned, the declaration that was requested yesterday. Hopefully to see a letter back from the SBA by the end of the week that's going to be moving forward. For those interested, you can go to the SBA website, www.sba.gov/coronavirus, and you can pull down the application there and get that in. You can also call the local office here in Arkansas at 501-324-7279. In terms of the CDBG, as the governor alluded to, we're working very closely with our congressional delegation. This is a federally funded program. HUD made the authorization that we can do a set-aside of our CDBG allotment for COVID-19 relief. The governor has authorized us to do so in the tune of $12 million that we have available. We're waiting further guidance from that, what we can break down between general assistance and economic development. We want to see that, again, go out in the form of loans to companies to help bridge that gap. And then for an immediate need, as the governor said, the Governor's Quick Action Closing Fund. This is really an unprecedented move that we've seen with this fund, but this is going to be something that's going to be impactful and immediate to businesses. What we're looking for is priority in companies that are in the supply chain of essential goods and services, including healthcare, food manufacturing, logistics, those companies that are so important to our economy, getting the supplies out to those in need right now. So we look to stand that up here in the next couple of days. I encourage businesses to go to our website, www.arkansasedc.com/COVID-19. That's the Arkansas Economic Development Commission website. We have a landing page right there that's going to have all this information available. You can call our office, 501-682-1121, and we have that information available. I'll be hosting a call at 3:30 this afternoon with all of our local economic developers and Chamber of Commerce directors around the state to push this information out to them. So if you're a business in a community and you're comfortable with your chamber and you want to work through them, they're going to have all these details and our team will work closely. We have email links set up on that webpage that I mentioned, so if you're a business inquiring, please send us an email and our team will return to you as soon as possible. Governor, I thank you for allowing us this opportunity to really support and help those businesses out there. We want to learn what we can do to make a difference and hopefully bridge this gap. Thank you, Governor.
Thank you, Governor. And I do want to echo Secretary Preston's comments. What the healthcare workers in this state are doing and what the essential personnel are doing throughout the supply chain is just amazing. And we depend on them enormously. The efforts that I'm going to talk about today really do tie very directly to that. We have had, as the governor said, over 800 child care centers that have closed in this state during this period. That means we have about 1,200 that are still open, and we want to support those being open. That's particularly important because this allows our healthcare workers to do their jobs because their children are taken care of. So we're doing several things today. One is for those providers who remain open through March 27th, and March 27th is tied to the date that school is set to resume. We will adjust the date depending on what happens with the schools opening, since many of these child care providers are tied to schools. So through March 27th, we are going to reimburse at an enhanced rate, as he said, $10 in addition on these child care development block grants. So $10 additional for an infant or a toddler, $5 for someone who is in, $7 for a preschool child, and then for a school-age child, we'll be doing an additional $5 per day. So that enhanced rate, we are hoping will help support those that are open being able to pay them more. We typically pay out about $5 million a month in child care voucher services, to give you a perspective on what this means. We're also going to do a few other things. For those who are able to serve more, we're going to raise the capacity, the occupational capacity, allow them to be 4 above occupational capacity in case they are able to bring in others. We're going to also waive some requirements around education in this temporary period for those who work there, so that they can bring in additional services, additional workers if they not like, or additional directors. We are also going to allow them, since a number are setting up larger operations quickly, we are going to allow them in this period to be able to mix children age 5 to 12 instead of having to keep them in separate areas, so that they can mix the services that are being provided to them. And then if they should need to bring on additional workers, obviously what we would like them to do is hire other workers from the daycares that are closed. But if they need to do a background check, we can do expedited background checks. If they will visit one of 17 sites where we have live scans, we can do a background check in the same day. So we will be posting all of that information. We're also going to post on our website all the open child care centers. So there is a place for someone to go to see what centers are open. So we will continue to support those child care centers. For the mothers and fathers who have a child on a voucher, what we are going to do is suspend the voucher renewal process for 30 days so that no one has to worry about losing their child care voucher during this public health emergency. We're shifting then over to SNAP, which is the program that provides food benefits to individuals. As the governor mentioned, in Arkansas there is a work requirement for adults it's called able-bodied adults without dependents have a work requirement in the state, and we're going to grant a mass good cause exemption for the month of April and the month of May for the individuals that have that work requirement, so that if they don't report their work requirements, they will not lose their SNAP benefits. And then for those who, due to this emergency, do need SNAP benefits now because of loss of income, they will be able, when they call us, to be put into or contact us online, whichever way they go or come in, we will be able to put them into an expedited process. And our workers will be asking them questions to determine whether or not they actually are, what has happened to them is because of the public health emergency. And if so, we'll put them in an expedited process so they can get quick determination of their eligibility for benefits and be able to get those underway. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Cindy. And we know that there's so many families that are challenged. There's so many businesses that are struggling as a result of this jolt to our economy. And this team is working very hard with the resources that we have to see what we can do that makes sense, that we can be of help. And again, there's limitations and there's risks that are out there that we can't control. But we want to be there. We want to make these loans available. We want to provide this assistance as they have indicated. We are anxiously awaiting the federal package that will also add, hopefully, some assistance to the families and businesses in Arkansas. With that, we'd be happy to take any questions.